Hello there, Ray here, and we are in the newest 1.16 snapshot. This is pre-release 2, and we were doing a lot of testing during our snapshot stream, and we noticed some really weird stuff to do with the changes that they added to the Pigman. So today, guys, we're going to be looking at a few different types of Pigman gold farms and seeing if they still work, seeing what exactly changed with these. So they did add 2 new game rules, which is Universal Anger, which is normally on false. This is actually a change from what it was before. Before, when you would attack a pigman and then log out, if you had somebody else that was nearby, the pigman would just turn over to your friend and start attacking them. So now in 1.16, that will no longer be the case. The other game rule which they added is forgive dead players. This is another one that has been changed. By default, this game rule is going to be true. In the past, if the pigmen were mad at you and you died and you happened to come back to the same area, they would still be mad at you. So 1.16, that is no longer the case either. Once you die, they will just forget about you. Doing some further testing during the stream, we noticed that if the pigmen were attacked by something like an iron golem, so if they get hit by this, they will be aggroed towards the iron golem, but if they fall down here to their death, they're not actually going to drop any XPs, but they're still dropping like rotten flesh as well as gold nuggets. Now this is my quick gold as well as XP gold farm. I specifically designed this for 1.16, but now you can see the pigmen, when they get hit by the iron golem, they are getting aggroed and they're running towards him, but they're not giving the same loot as they did before. It used to be every time the iron golem would hit them, he would aggro the rest of them, and every single one of these guys that were mad at the iron golem, when they would die, they would also drop the XPs, as well as they have a small chance at dropping the gold ingot. But now they're not dropping gold ingots or XPs, so they definitely changed something. Let's go ahead and look at my other gold farms. So here's my portal pigman farm. The way this one works, if you hit one of the pigmen, they will get mad at you. This will make all the rest of the ones that spawn inside the portals come running at you and will allow them to be aggressive, which normally when they die, they drop XPs as well as gold ingots. We also have some satellite pigmen on either side to constantly re-aggro these guys. That way they're always mad and always running towards you, allowing you to get the extra XPs as well as ingot. Now right off the bat, you can see after I did hit that one guy, these guys are coming into the center, but they are actually not mad. They're not like running towards the center. I can even hop down in there, and you can see that they're not attacking me. They're just trying to go after the turtle egg. Now we do have these satellite pigmen over here, and they should be re-aggroing all the rest of the guys that are inside of the portal. Any new guys that spawn in should be informed by this guy that there's a player over here and they should come after my player and kill him, or at least attempt to. Now if we go over to these guys, we can hear them making noises. They are mad. Like, they are mad. They do want to come towards the player, but even though they are actually mad themselves, they're not making the other pigmen be mad. And if we go down here and look at the loot when these guys die, you see that they're not actually dropping any XPs. If they don't drop XPs, that means they're also not going to drop the rare chance of the gold ingot. So clearly there is a problem going on here. The guys out in the distance aren't telling the new pigmen that they should come and attack my player. Now if we go ahead and change it, so universal aggro is set back to true like it used to be before they changed it. And we also changed the forgive dead players to false like it also used to be prior to these changes. Let's go ahead and try it now. So we got some pigmen coming in here, and I'll just hit them with a snowball. That pigman will go ahead and tell all the other ones that are in the portals to come after me and try to attack me. So you see they're definitely running. But very quickly you notice that all the other pigmen are just like walking over here. They're not even mad at me anymore. So I can even hop down in here with these guys. They're not mad whatsoever. They're just walking towards the eggs over here. Even with the old game rules enabled, the pigmen are actually not acting the same way as they used to. The problem definitely seems to be with these satellite pigmen, which are supposed to re-aggro all the new pigmen that spawn inside of these portals. Let's go ahead and take a look at one other gold farm. This here is a gold farm which I'm using for a new project. This is actually Beacon in the Box number 2, which is a beacon farm all in one. And I'll be showing this in a future video. But it has my new wither skeleton farm and a new auto wither killer. Plus we have a really fast and simple gold farm up here. Works similar to the portal farm where the pigmen spawn on these platforms. And then we have a satellite guy over here a little farther away. And then we get these guys mad and they will run towards the player and come over here and die. Go ahead and give it a try. I'll just hit one of these guys with a snowball. And you can see they're running towards me. They are mad. And the one guy that I hit actually informed all the other guys that are nearby to come over here and try to kill me. So they're all going to fall down here and die. But notice that the new guys that spawned in over there are not mad at me. Now in the past, they would be mad through the satellite pigman. So satellite pigman, since he's still here, you can hear him, he's mad. Normally, he would go ahead and tell the other pigmen in the area that there is a player that he can see me through this line here, and that they should go after the player. And he would tell them my exact location so they could pathfind to me. But clearly this guy is not telling these guys anything about me, or that they even should be mad at me. Even though he is definitely mad, you can hear him. So what exactly is going on here? Why is this guy acting differently even when we change the game rules back to the way it used to be? And one of the ProtoTech members, CheaterCodes, actually looked into the Minecraft code and see exactly what they changed about the code. And it all has to do with this new game rule, universal anger. Now even though turning this on or off doesn't actually fix the Pigman gold farms, but what did change is when they added this game rule, they cleaned up some old Minecraft code which allowed Pigmen to propagate the anger that they had to other Pigmen.
Mostly it's just related to them refactoring code. Before, they had the special type of revenge that just made the other pigmen angry, not just make them target you. Now they just target you and don't make you angry anymore. None of these guys is angry at you. Just the one guy you hit is angry. Other ones just charge at you.
So what would happen is this guy, you would hit this guy with a snowball. He would go ahead and tell all the other pigmen around him that there's somebody that we should go attack. Then all those guys would go ahead and try to tell other pigmen around them that they should go over and attack him as well. This meant that this guy would go ahead and tell this guy that he should go over there and attack. So this guy is ready to go over and attack. But this guy would also try to go out and tell other pigmen that they should attack. Now when they did add this new universal anger thing, they changed it. So now when you hit one pigman, only him is going to go ahead and tell other pigmen that they should go attack. None of the pigmen that he talks to are going to go ahead and repeat it. This means that the satellite pigman doesn't get re-aggroed. And once he uses up his one time to tell the other pigmen around him, he's not going to take in any information that they give him and try to rebroadcast it out to the other ones around here. Because of that, every time you want these guys to be re-aggroed, you have to re-hit them by some means that they see as an attack. Let's go ahead and give this a try. We'll go over here and stand an AFK spot. And if we hit this guy over here, hit that guy, they're going to run over here. Now let's go ahead and we'll just hit this first guy right before he goes in, hit him with a snowball. So he's going to go in and he's going to die from max cramming. And the first guy is able to give us some XPs. Every other pigman does not give us any XPs. So only the guy you actually hit with the snowball, if he dies within 5 seconds, will give you XP as well as having that chance to give you the gold ingot. All the other guys that kind of came with him will follow him, but they won't give you any XPs or any chance of getting the gold ingot. And this is going to drastically reduce the amount of gold you get from gold farms. Not only that, you pretty much will get 0 XPs from a gold farm now. Now, something strange that they also changed, if you would hit a pigman, and notice how I'm standing on the edge here, they can come up here and push me around. Even if I turn on hitboxes, you can see that these guys can clearly hit me if they wanted to. But they're somehow unable to actually hit my player. If I would hop down here, you see they're actually able to hit me. Well, they did change some other stuff with the pigmen as well in this update. So if you actually want some XPs, what you'll have to do is make sure that every single pigman that comes into the hole is hit by the player by some means, like a snowball, within 5 seconds of them dying. Otherwise, you won't get XPs or the ingots. And essentially, this is going to turn into like a normal mob farm where all you do is angry the pigmen and make them come all the way to your killing chamber, and then you let them fall down in the killing chamber, and then once they're all in there, then you just take a sword to them and kill them. They won't be able to rely on the automatic killing of themselves as well as getting all that XPs while being AFK. This means if you want XPs, there's probably other means of getting XPs which is easier than letting all these guys crowd into a small hole and killing them with a sword. And we did try quite a few other things like making the satellite pigmen move back and forth, also making them go in between dimensions. We also tried having the player go in and out of dimensions, as well as a bunch of other things trying to get these pigmen to re-aggro using the satellite pigmen. Nothing worked, mostly because the satellite pigman only really has one-time use. If you would hit the satellite pigman again, then he would try to inform the other guys to attack you. But then he'd be done once again. We even tried having a snow golem stand here and shoot at these pigmen, hoping that he would constantly aggro them. Now, snow golem will constantly hit these guys and make them mad, But just like the iron golem we looked at earlier, or the zoglin, when these guys die, they don't actually drop any XPs, and you also won't get any gold ingots. So there's like really no benefit to them being killed by this way. You might as well just go ahead and drop them down to their death to get the same amount of loot. Now the real question is, why did they actually change this? Now there is actually a bug report on these old behaviors of pigmen constantly re-aggroing and getting XPs. It's called Zombie Pigmen, Zombified Piglins drop XPs, rare drops if killed by anything while in the aggroed state. Now this bug report is actually all the way back from 2014, and it's been updated through all the versions all the way to pre-release 2. And this bug report is considered fixed as it's marked as resolved, and it is fixed in version 1.16 pre-release 2. But if we go ahead and look at the official Mojang website, what they say are the actual changes in pre-release 2. You can see that they have an edit here saying that in pre-release 2 they fixed a bunch of crashes as well as corruptions, and that most people that have pre-release 1 worlds will have to use a backup of that world because they will be corrupted from now on. Now the actual bugs that were fixed in pre-release 2 include crash from the game, a bug to do with the game always asking for confirmation, another crash, a world generation error, a bug to do with different dimensions not working, and at the very last one is another crash of the game. Everything else here is pre-release 1, and that's the only reason why they came out with the second release was because there were some really major bugs. That's why they swiftly came out with the second version to fix these. Nowhere in here does it talk anything about changes to the pigmen. And that's because this bug report actually wasn't fixed in pre-release 2. It was actually fixed in pre-release 1. And there was a ton of bug fixes in pre-release 1, but if we just search for the exact number using the find command, this number should appear if there was a bug that was fixed with that number. And if I hit enter, you can see there's 0 results. So this bug right here was never actually fixed in pre-release 1, at least not officially. We go back to the bug report and we look at the comments. People are commenting saying that they can't replicate this in pre-release 1, meaning that this was changed in pre-release 1, but never actually made it onto the official change logs. But because it took people a little bit of time to recognize this change, it wasn't confirmed to be fixed until pre-release 2, and that's why it officially says it was fixed in pre-release 2. But if Mojang actually was trying to fix this bug, they're very proud of the bugs that they fix, and they like to document all of them and show them off in the change logs when there is a new version. Because the bug report doesn't appear anywhere on the official log, it's pretty obvious that this bug was removed by accident while they're cleaning up the code and adding in the new game rule. Now, Mojang accidentally changing game mechanics in Minecraft is nothing new. It happens quite often, actually. This is why the ProtoTech members actually have an entire Google document sheet dedicated to keeping track of different bugs as well as changes made throughout the versions, even ones that aren't documented by Mojang. This allows us to collect rare items and blocks as well as mobs from past versions that are now discontinued in future versions. And I have a whole playlist going over these rare items as well as discontinued items they can no longer obtain in new versions. You can find that really cool playlist down below. And there's another thing that indicates that they accidentally did this. That is the game rules that they gave us. So they gave us these 2 new game rules, both of which you're supposed to be able to change it so that it's just like the game behavior prior to this snapshot, just like it was before they changed it. So if somebody didn't like the universal anger thing not working, they can go ahead and change it back to true. This way they keep everybody happy. People that want to play with like the old behavior can still do it. And they actually did this quite a few different times throughout the past, including when they added max entity cramming. Some people didn't like the idea of them changing that, so they had this game rule which you can set to 0, and therefore there will be no entity cramming whatsoever. You also could do funny stuff like set it to 1, which mobs take cramming inside of themselves. Now gold farms as well as like snow crashes, donut gold farm have been popular for many years. It's very unlikely for them to change something that's so widely used without taking steps to inform the Minecraft community that they are going to try to make these changes. Other big changes like this in the past have been talked over the course of weeks before they were actually implemented, like the changes to enchanted apples being craftable. At that time, they decided to either nerf pigmen so they wouldn't drop so much gold, or change it so that you wouldn't be able to craft up the notch apple. They also tried to make other big changes in the past, such as making it so that you only get iron from iron golems if you killed it by player means. This was not widely accepted, and therefore they reverted the change. But in 1.16 we did see some really big changes overall made to gameplay, like AFK fishing being nerfed, wither roses no longer allowing most mobs to spawn on them. Wither skulls immediately exploding at the source being removed from the game. Zero-taking crop farms being removed. Many other smaller changes. But the real question is, since they have changed this already, will they go ahead and change it back? Now, CheaterCodes looked at the Minecraft code, and according to him, the code looked like it was unintentional that Pigman should constantly re-aggro. So it could make sense that they went ahead and kind of cleaned this up while also removing this code that wasn't supposed to be in there in the first place. But since this is quite a large change to the game, I don't think they will actually go forward with these changes, and they will probably go ahead and revert them in the next snapshot and maybe even discuss maybe tweaking it so there's kind of like a middle ground. Now, when CheaterCodes was looking into the Minecraft code, he also noticed something that was changed about the Pigmen. And that was they can actually be aggroed from almost an infinite amount of distance. And we've seen this during our testing where we had some people that were almost out of our view hitting some Pigmen, and all our Pigmen from our platform just started jumping off the platform trying to get hundreds of blocks away to where the players were over there. But there is actually a failsafe with this. Pigmen will aggro really far away, but then they will immediately stop aggroing. All in all, it seems like the Pigman code is still not quite refined enough for the full release, but definitely look forward to some more changes, probably in the next pre-release. Now, Pigmen are kind of unique where they do have this ability to kind of aggro their other fellow Pigmen and tell them to attack a single person. We don't see this too often in other mobs. You guys did point out that wild wolves also have this ability, where if you hit one, the other ones will come after you as well, and so do bees. I don't think we should worry too much until we see what the next pre-release brings. If you guys would like to learn about all the new changes in 1.16, I have a playlist down below that goes over all the snapshots and all the changes in it, as well as showing new 1.16 farms which you can build up in your worlds. You're sure to learn a lot of new stuff. Remember to share this video with other Minecrafters so they can learn about these changes, which could potentially change the way we play the game, as well as leave a like on the video. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!